Stylelife.com presents Stylelife Academy.
Hi, I'm Julia Calder and I teach the Alexander Technique. Neil told me a little bit about the Stylelife Challenge, and he just asked me to speak to you guys a little bit about what this technique is and how it might help you to do what you're hoping to do, which I think is to get some ladies. So basically, I'm just going to give you kind of a little bit of an idea in a nutshell of what this is and how it could be helpful. And it's definitely something that if you're interested in learning more about it, I'll tell you at the end of the video where you can find a teacher, because it takes a little bit of time to learn. So the thing that the Alexander Technique can help you with is to learn, just like you're doing in the Stylelife Challenge. It sounds to me like in this challenge, you guys are working on changing some habits in order to get a different result in dating. And the Alexander Technique is really all about learning how to change our habits, because we all have ways of doing things, just, you know, the way that we sit at the computer during the day. So I'm just going to face this way so you can see me. The way that we sit at the computer kind of typing, you know, the way that we pick up our cell phone when it rings. I'm going to face this way now, you know, kind of like, hello. And you know, the way that we go to pick something up off the floor. No. But the reason why the way we do what we do is important is because it is reflected in our posture. So if during the day, as I do things all day long, I am kind of compressing myself and tightening my neck and bringing up my shoulders and doing these kinds of things, and I'm unaware that that's how I'm using my body, then it's going to just be reflected in the way that I hold myself, in what we think of as posture. So the Alexander Technique is something that just teaches us to become more aware of how we use our bodies and of how we do what we do, so that we can basically kind of peel away some of the extra work that we do, so that we can have an easier use of our head, neck, and back. It's sort of like if you have a big pile of boxes and you've got, you know, one box over here and another box over here and one here and one here, and they're just all over the place, and you're trying to carry them. It's difficult to carry them because, you know, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. But if we learn how to kind of line things up a little bit and bring things to the center, then it's much easier to carry those boxes because they're just more lined up. They're in alignment, so there's less work to move them about. So I'm going to show you a little bit of an example with my skeleton of how this applies to you and to how you use your head and your neck and your back during the day as you do things. So here's my skeleton. And just like we all do, he has a head up here, which weighs as much as a gallon of milk. I mean, his doesn't obviously because he's small, but all of us, our head weighs the same as a gallon of milk does. And so what happens if our head kind of, you know, gets out of alignment with the rest of us is that, as you can see, everything else gets compressed. So the relationship of the head and how it rests on top of the neck and the back is really important. And through the Alexander Technique, we can begin to notice when I'm going to show you on me here, when we tighten the muscles of our neck, because that tightening brings our head back and down and then causes us to compress our back. So I'm kind of doing an exaggerated example of what happens when we tighten our neck muscles, and we kind of, everything gets scrunched. So the Alexander Technique is just a way to begin to notice how we're doing what we do, and when we're tightening and compressing our neck and compressing our shoulders and our back. And we don't want to do that, obviously, because then we end up looking a little bit scrunched and not feeling so good either. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of times our neck and our back can hurt as a result of that overwork that we all do throughout the day. So, my question now is, I'm going to put my skeleton down here, is why can't we just do it then? If we know in our head that, we should change our posture, then why can't we just change our posture? And that's because if my habit is to compress my neck and bring my head forward and compress my spine, and then I try to, someone tells me, sit up straight, and I try to fix that, which I'm going to do here. I'm really just shifting the tension in my body to a different spot. So here I'm compressing my upper back, and then when I try to fix that and I do this, I'm just compressing my lower spine. So it's really just the same amount of work when we are crumpling and when we are trying to sit a certain way. It's the same amount of work, and neither of them are very comfortable. So in the Alexander technique, we kind of learn to notice the extra work and compression that we're doing so that we can undo some of it and be easier without feeling like we have to put ourselves in a position. So it's really about noticing what we do and learning how we can stop for a moment, and then thinking about things to help us to allow our back to lengthen and to allow our head to rest on top of our spine as we move and as we do things during the day.